Company, and I am honored here today to be interviewing a brilliant young man. He is the creator of the Ordinary People's podcast, where he showcases ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Alan, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me on to Ordinary People on the show. Like I said, I'm the CEO of the Ordinary People podcast, and I'm looking forward to answering any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Alan. And the first thing I'd like to, this is just meant to be an up close and personal interview. This is Alan's first up close and personal interview, so we're honored to have him. The first thing I'd like to know, Alan, is could you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, and what gave you the idea of creating the Ordinary People's podcast?
Okay, no problem. A little bit about my background is Alan Henry, also called me Alan the Great. From Riverside Projects, Wilmington, Delaware. Born and raised there. Well, not born there, but raised the majority of my life there. I'm father of 2 kids. One son who's 7, another one that's 2 that we recently adopted. Husband. As far as the podcast is concerned, how I came up with the idea of doing the podcast, here's the interesting thing about it. It wasn't supposed to be the Ordinary People podcast. The original idea was, I have a friend that we usually talk and we debate and we go back and forth on multiple different subjects all the time, ranging from politics to pop music to anything, basically. And what happened was, I said to him one day, I was like, we should do a podcast together where me and you are basically debating. Now, I came up with a concept. I'm not going to go into the concept of what we were going to do. And we had a long talk about it, but we never was able to get on the same page with getting it out. So what I did was, I reinvented the idea and came with the Ordinary People podcast. Reason I came up with it is because I felt like there was a lot of great talkers out here, but there was not enough good listeners. I wanted to create a platform where I could be a good listener and allow people who are average Joes tell their stories and hopefully to inspire others. A lot of people have helped me get to where I am in life, so I felt the need and the responsibility to help others, find their goal and find their path.
Thank you, Alan. That's great. I mean, and that's one reason why I feel humbled to be doing this interview, because you came from very modest, humble beginnings. And what you've been able to do with your life has been extraordinary. And I for one am so proud of you. I think that the Ordinary People's podcast, you've given me the honor of being a guest on in the past, is so much needed. It's such a valuable broadcast, such a valuable tool for people to express themselves in terms of their stories, in terms of just something that they like to share or give to the world that's positive. I think in these days, I noticed that you do have a lot of people doing different types of broadcasts, but sometimes it can be kind of cliquish, so to speak, where, if you're not in the in crowd or you don't really know the people involved, you may be shut out or you don't get the opportunity where you're willing to have anybody who's positive, who really wants to share their story, to empower and help others. You're willing to talk to them and give them the possibility of coming on your broadcast. So that's on your podcast. So that's great, and that's much needed. Another question I wanted to ask you is, what would you say to a young man or young woman who comes from humble, modest beginnings, like yourself, who feels like they don't really have opportunity, they don't have money, they don't have the means to be able to improve their life the way you have done? What would you say to help them, to get them on the right track to pursue whatever it is that they would like to do?
First thing I would say to a person like that, and bear with me when I give you this answer, get ready for a lot of doors to close in your face. Get ready for people to tell you that you're not going to be able to do it. Get ready for traps to be set for you not to be able to achieve that success. That's the first thing I'm going to say to you. Don't walk into it with the expectation that it's going to be easy to achieve your dreams. Don't go in with the expectation that it's going to happen overnight. Don't go in with the expectation that people, whether it's family, friends, people you know in your whole life, your aunts and uncles, cousins, are going to support you. Don't go in with that aspiration, them thoughts. Now, why I say that is because once you're conscious of these traps that's going to be set for you, you can start to plan to go around it. Now, here's what the positive about it. We often talk about tools that we have. One of the tools you have if you come from modest backgrounds is you're resilient. You're born resilient because you may not have money. You might not have resources that other people had. Don't underestimate that tool and how important that tool is and what that tool can do in regards to achieving success. It's not about money. Most people think achieving success is about money, when in reality it's not. Money's going to come. That's going to come in time, and it's not going to change your situation. It's only going to highlight who you are. Now, I know you heard that before. Now, how do you do it? This is what you do. You got to draw motivation yourself. Don't look for somebody else to inspire you. Don't look for money to inspire you. Don't look for attention to inspire you. Look for something inside you that's going to make you, it's going to drive you to do it. Find that passion within you and understand and make sure. Listen to what I'm about to say. Make sure that you have a passion, because there is going to be days that you want to quit. There is going to be days that people are going to challenge you. There's going to be days where people who want to tell you that you can't do it. On those days are days you're going to have to rely on your passion and how you feel about it. So don't go into it and look at your situation where, look, I don't have this. First mistake is never look at what you don't have. Look around. Tell me what you do have. Tell yourself what you do have. When I created my podcast, yes, I came from humble beginnings. I didn't have a lot of money. I had a laptop. I didn't even have microphones. In fact, I had one microphone where I recorded music at. Here's the thing. I didn't look at what I had or didn't have. What I focused on was what I needed to get, and I figured out a way to get it. Create a plan. And whatever you do, don't ever let anybody tell you you can't achieve it. Anything's possible. I'm living proof of that.
Amen, Alan the Great. Amen. You said a mouthful, and you're inspiring me just sitting here listening to you. And that's what I do. I look to inspire others. I look to get them to exercise their ability to think. You have to know who you are, and it's obvious that you know who you are. You know where you're going, and I'm just excited to see where the possibilities that await you, your podcast, and anything else that you inspire to do. Because I know it's just going to be astronomical. And you're absolutely right, Alan.
Absolutely. Podcast is going to grow, and I'm going to make an announcement here. I have two things going that I want to make a quick announcement about before I let you get back to your questions. One, I will be writing and publishing a book. It will be called The Day That My Heart Died. It's going to be not a complete biography about my life, but details about events in my life where there were traps that were set for me personally, for me to fall in, so I couldn't achieve the success I have today. I can't give you a date yet. That's still in progress. Also, keep your eye out. If you like the Ordinary People podcast, I got a couple other podcasts that I'm about to whip up that's going to go in a different direction, but sure to entertain you. So keep your eye out and watch out for me, because there's more to come.
Thank you, Alan. And that was sure that you really have a lot of great things coming for our viewers. And now, let me ask you: is there any particular type of guest? Is there a criteria that you look for in a guest? Does it depend on a particular show topic, or are you looking for someone who has a kind of rags to riches type of story? Are you looking for, is there a particular criteria that a person that you're looking for them to meet to be able to be a guest on your podcast?
Absolutely. There's definitely a criteria to be a guest. There's a criteria and a certain type of guest I am looking for. I'm looking for someone that's honest. I'm looking for somebody who truly is willing and wants to help people, who have that desire to help people. I'm looking for somebody who wants to use their story to inspire other people. Now, do you have to be rags to riches? Absolutely not, because let's be honest, I'm not rich yet. And I always emphasize the word yet, because quoting Jay-Z, I'm about $1 from being a millionaire. So you know what? It's about to happen, and it's about to happen for you too. But you don't have to be rich. You just have to be willing to share your story and be honest. You know, I just don't want somebody to come on my show and, you know, create a false story about the trials and tribulations they went through and they never had those problems and they get exposed later. The importance of your honesty is also importance of the podcast growing and its credibility. If your story is not credible and you're lying, then compromise the credibility of the podcast. Now, like I said, anybody's welcome to come on the podcast. As long as you have a good, as long as you have a story and you're willing to share it, I'm willing to listen. Like I said, we got a lot of great talkers, but not enough great listeners. I want to be a great listener for you, and I want you to get out your story. Remember, sometimes telling your story can be the greatest form of therapy. So, if you're out there and you want to talk on the show, absolutely, come on. You don't have to be rich, and you don't have to be the poorest person. Maybe you went through a problem where you lost your job for 2 months, and you were able to overcome that. Maybe it was a week. It's no story is too big or too small for the Ordinary People podcast. Remember, this podcast is for you. It's not for me. It's for you. So take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, that's great, Alan, and I'm just again I keep saying it, but I'm just honored to know you, to be a part of anything that you create or want to do, because you know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this young man is really brilliant. He's offering you an opportunity to express yourself, to let the world know what talents you have, to inspire others by sharing your story. You know, I was saying to someone the other day that, you know, at one time we had to rely on others. When we didn't have technology the way we do today, we had to rely on others to give us a break, so to speak. Others to open the door for us to achieve our dreams. And now, we're, you know, with technology, with what it is, you can create your own breaks. You know, you can, and that's what this young man is offering you the chance to do. He's offering you a chance to create your destiny, inspire others. He's
Right.
giving you the opportunity he's giving you that platform for exposure, you know, to expose you to an unlimited amount of people, not only in his circle, but worldwide. So I suggest you take advantage of that. This young man's the real deal. He's serious about his podcast. He wants everything to be just right to make sure that you get the best quality, that you are able to tell your story in a fashion that you deserve, and that's good for the podcast. So again, take advantage of that opportunity. You can contact this man, Alan. Would you give the viewers your contact information?
Absolutely. You can always contact me, Ordinary People Podcast, number 16 at gmail.com. Also, if you're watching this video, you also can contact me through Facebook. It's Alan Henry on Facebook. You can contact me that way. Check out my channel on YouTube, Alan the Great. Also, look for more announcements as far as the podcast going to SoundCloud. We're also going to be expanding to iTunes and Google Play Store real soon. I apologize if the volume is a little low. We're having a little technical difficulties with the mics, but we're trying to work through it. So please work with us here. Just reading the comments. But yes, you can always contact me through my email. Once again, Ordinary People Podcast, the number 16 at gmail.com. You can contact me through Facebook. You can inbox me through Facebook, or you can write on my wall. If you really want to get in contact with me, those are the best ways. Also, like I said, check out my channel on YouTube, Alan the Great, where I do my Ordinary People podcast, where I interview people like Mr. Dorsey. Also, the Andre Ryder episode, where we talk to people, Mr. Ryder about drug addiction, how he overcame drug addiction. Also, check out the Extraordinary Opinion segment. That's a new segment I do where I give my opinion on multiple different subjects, whether it's current events or just subjects that I talk to people about. If you're interested in me hearing my opinion on any subject, please, once again, email me, Ordinary People Podcast, number 16 at gmail.com, or hit me through Facebook, and just let me know what subject you want my opinion on. If you disagree with my opinion, I encourage that you give me your opinion on it and tell me whether you disagree with it or not. Only thing I ever ask for is let's be respectful with it. If we have respectful dialogue, excuse me, I'm all for it. I don't think that I know everything and not everything I say is correct. So if you ever have a difference of opinion with me, please, let's do dialogue. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can come together on common ground and find a solution to the problems that we all face every day.
Well stated, Alan. Well stated. Again, if Alan, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the viewers that you feel that they really need to know in terms of getting from where they are today to any goal that they aspire to do? Is there any other comments, anything else that you'd like to share with the viewers that may help them? Anything?
Yes. Eliminating self-doubt. Eliminate fear. Now, I'm going to take a second here to talk about myself for a second. Let's start with fear. Now, Mr. Dorsey asked me earlier what made me come up with the podcast. Why did I do this? Like most of you right now, I have fears. Quite a few of them that I really didn't like. I have fear of failure. But more importantly, I have fear of success. What if I actually succeed? Is people around me going to change? Is my environment going to change? Is my family going to change? What's going to happen if I succeed? I have fear of that. And multiple people out here right now, if you're watching this or you're listening to this later, I understand if you have a fear too. Maybe your fears are the same as mine. Maybe they're different. But see, I got tired of running from my fear. I got tired of running from it, as you will one day. If you haven't yet, trust me, one day soon, you're going to get tired of running from your fear. You're going to get tired of it chasing you. You're going to run out of gas. Or it's going to back you in the corner, because that's what it does. It'll back you in the corner. And at that point, you're going to have to stand up and fight it, like I did. I ran to a place where I couldn't run no more. I ran as far as I could. My fear backed me in the corner. All I had left to do was I had to face it. So without saying anything to anybody about it or what my fears were, I sat down one day. I wrote down every single fear, from the smallest one to the biggest one. Whether it was petting a snake or holding a spider or chasing my dreams. And I said, you know what? I'm going to mark off each and every fear I have off of this list. And that's what I did. I did that a year ago. I'm not done my list, but I'll tell you this. I don't have much left on it. Your list might have a lot on it, but it only take one step, one day to start. Mark them things off that list. And what you're going to realize is that giant fear that you were hiding and running from, that monster ain't as big as it seemed. Because once I started fighting that monster, it was smaller than a mouse. And the only thing I was running from was myself.
Wow. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from Alan the Great. How he crashed through that terror barrier. He decided that his dream was bigger than that fear. He decided that nothing was going to stop him from achieving his dreams. And I'll tell you something. You're no different than he is. We're all the same. God gave us the same tools. We're all the same. Just like he can crash through that terror barrier, you can do it too. You got to hold your mind on that picture in your mind of what you want. And once you get emotionally involved in that picture, I promise you, just like it's going to get dark tonight, it will happen. It will manifest itself. It has to happen. By God's laws, it has to manifest and happen. So once you understand, you'll never let anybody. You'll be just like Alan. You'll be just like Alan the Great. You'll never let anybody tell you what you can and cannot do. Henry Ford had a quote. He said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right."
Absolutely. Can I cut you off and say
Yes,
something else?
by all
Mr.
means.
Dorsey said that you will be as great as me. Do me a favor. Be greater than me. Be greater than me. I made a goal. My son's 7. This is going to sound crazy to a lot of you, but trust me when I tell you, I mean this, and this is true. At 5 years old, I made a goal to be better than my mother and my father at every aspect of life. Not to say that that's anything bad about my mom and dad. I have great parents. However, my personal goal was to always be better than them. Not because they told me to or anybody else told me to, because I wanted to be better than them. I told my son, don't be as good as me. Don't be me. Be better than me. I want you to outsmart me, outthink me, outwork me. Show me that you're better. And to all you listening right now, be better than me. Be better than Mr. Dorsey. Be smarter than me. Work harder than me. Accomplish more than I accomplished. Because that's the only way we're going to keep moving this thing called life forward. Be better than me. I challenge you to.
Ladies and gentlemen, now that's humility. That's humility. So, again, Alan the Great, we'd like to thank you. I'd like to thank you for allowing me into your studio so that we can do this broadcast, this up-close and personal interview. Viewers, if you haven't learned anything today, you should have learned resilience. You should have learned persistence. You should have learned using your will to bust through the terror barrier, to do anything that you want to do or aspire to do or be great at. So again, we're going to close this thing out, but I offer you to please, if you have any questions, please, you can ask them via the comment section of this video. Alan the Great gave you his contact information. If you want to contact him directly, he's always ready and willing to take questions or talk to you about the possibility of being a guest on his podcast. We'd like to thank you for tuning in. You could have been doing anything else you wanted to do, but you chose to tune into this broadcast. So thank you. God bless you. And Alan the Great, thank you for allowing us to come into your studio and conduct an up-close and personal interview. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me. Once again, if y'all have any questions for me, if you want to know anything about me, if you want to know more details about my personal life, my personal journey, my personal growth, anything, please don't be afraid to ask. As long as you're not doing it with malicious intent, I'll share anything with you. There's no secrets. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to run from. Remember, your dreams are always close enough for you to grab them. That money you want is right there on the table. Stop leaving it there. Stop letting people tell you you can't achieve success. And remember, check out the Ordinary People podcast on YouTube. My channel, Alan the Great. Subscribe, like, comment on it. Come on, share the podcast. Let's make it grow. Because our success equals up to your success. We're going to drive this country, this world, and y'all forward. We're going to get you to that dream that you're chasing, and we're going to get you to that success. That money you want, we're going to get you there. I promise you. Peace.
Peace.